हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज जिस टॉपिक पे मैं वीडियो बना रही हूँ वो MHI 01 असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन 1 पर है। ये जो असाइनमेंट है, ये जो आपका लेटेस्ट सिलेबस है, जिन बच्चों के पास अभी लेटेस्ट सिलेबस आया है इग्नू का, उसके अकॉर्डिंग मैंने ये असाइनमेंट बनाया है। आज मैंने एक क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे सॉल्व किया है। बाकी धीरे धीरे भी मैं और क्वेश्चंस, अगर मुझे टाइम मिला या अगर आप लोगों को चाहिए हो और क्वेश्चंस सॉल्व वाले, तो आप मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन पे लिख के भेजिएगा। मैं आप लोगों के लिए ज़रूर बनाऊँगी। ये मैंने एक बनाया है और ये पूरा, पहली बात मैं आपको बता दूँ, मेरे खुद के मैंने खुद से बनाया है। मैंने किसी बुक की हेल्प नहीं ली है। बुक मैंने जो आपकी इग्नू की बुक है वो उसके हेल्प से बनाया है, लेकिन कोई गाइड बुक जैसे कि नीरज की आती है या गली बाबा की आती है, और भी बहुत सारी आती हैं, मैंने किसी की भी हेल्प नहीं ली है, ना मैंने किसी से असाइनमेंट्स ख़रीदे हैं। ये मैंने खुद से बनाया। अगर किसी बच्चे को मैच भी करना हो तो वो कर सकता है। ठीक है, तो मैंने जो क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे लिखा है वो है, गिव अ ब्रीफ अकाउंट ऑफ द ट्रांजिशन टू डेमोक्रेसी इन एंशियंट ग्रीस। The Greeks referred to the age of tyranny. Tyranny speeded up the transition from oligarchical rule to democracy. The tyrants undermined the institution through which the aristocracy has exercised political power. The Greek aristocracies enjoyed power not because of their wealth, but by virtue of their birth. The aristocratic families held all executive, judicial, and military positions. Therefore, the political structure of the Greek states during the Archaic period is referred as oligarchical. A number of Greek states evolved into democracy during the course of the Archaic period. For example, Chios and Megara, where democratic institutions come into existence in around 600 BC. Democratization varied from state to state. In Greece, common people participated in the political process to a much greater degree than other contemporary society. A new system of government existed. The term polis in ancient Greece was used to denote those political entities which had some aspects of democratic functioning. The forms of government of the various polis range from purely oligarchical on the one hand to the mature democracy of Athens on the other. By the beginning of the classical period, Athens and Sparta emerged as the two leading polis in Greece. The polis was territorially a small political entity. Population size was relatively small. If the polis was large either territorially or in terms of its inhabitant, democracy would not have been functional. Greek democracy was a direct democracy. In modern democracy, the people choose their representatives who then legislate and govern on their behalf. In ancient Greece, democracy implied participation by all the citizens in the basic organ of the democratic system, namely the assembly. Citizenship concept was restricted. Only the igneous native resident of a polis were recognized as citizen. Women were excluded. Only male adults enjoyed the privilege of being citizen. All those who were not original residents of the polis or were considered outsiders for some reason or the other did not form part of the citizen body. The free non-citizens in Sparta were called Perikoi. They were known as metics at Athens. Slaves had no right. Only citizens could own land. There was also a close link between citizenship right and military service. The Greek states did not maintain standing armies of professional soldiers because they lacked the resources for financing such an army. Citizens were simultaneously soldiers. The hoplite infantry was the backbone of the Greek army. The Greek armies were essentially armies of peasant citizens. The citizens of the Greek polis can vote in the assembly, which was the basic right of citizenship, by personally attending the meetings of the assembly. The meetings of the assembly generally held in some open space in the city center. A smaller body, the council carried the actual task of governance. With the decline of monarchy, real power had passed into the hands of oligarchical council dominated by the hereditary landed elite. The assembly could not meet very frequently. When it met, it could only debate and vote on few issues. The council convened the assembly, prepared its agenda, and guided its session. The council was a very powerful body in most states, and at Athens it had been genuinely representative by circa 500 BC. Due to the scope of its accomplishment, Athens has a special significance in any discussion on Greek democracy. In terms of the development of its democratic structure, Athens was an exception rather than the rule in ancient Greece. Zolan made changes in the political system which gave ordinary Athenian the right to participate in the government. Zolan revived the Athenian assembly and had ceased to function. He constituted a new Athenian council called the Bowl. It had 400 members and it superseded the old oligarchical council. Areopagus, the old Athenian council, was an organ of the aristocracy. Membership of the later body was traditionally monopolized by a hereditary elite known as the Euphratridae. The Areopagus was not abolished, but its functions were curtailed. Now the ball became the main center of political power. Membership of the ball was based on property qualification and not on hereditary right. The Athenian citizen was divided into four classes by Zolan. Pentazosimini, who possessed land which yielded at least 500 medemonae of wheat or its equivalent value in wine or oil. Second category was the citizen whose land yielded at least 300 medemonae. Third is the owners of land yielding at least 200 medemonae. They were called zungtai. They were small and middle peasant who constituted the main strength of the Athenian hoplite infantry. At the bottom were the thieves who had property yielding less than 200 medemonae. They were the poor peasantry. The bowl membership was open only to the first three classes. The thieves were excluded from the council. The council was a body of the rich and middle peasantry. Qualifications for public offices corresponded to the fourfold class division. The first two classes held the principal political and military offices. The Zungtai held minor offices. The thieves only had the right to participate in the meetings of the assembly. The political structure was further reformed after the overthrow of Hippias in 510 BC. The crucial democratic reforms at the beginning of the classical period are attributed to Clisthenes, who for some years was the most important political figure at Athens following the end of tyranny. तो स्टूडेंट्स, ये मेरा आज का वीडियो है और मैंने यहाँ पे आपको ये सॉल्व असाइनमेंट्स दिया है MHI 01 का। पहले भी मैंने बताया था, ये प्योरली मैंने खुद से बनाया है, मैंने किसी भी गाइड बुक की हेल्प नहीं ली है और ये मैंने बुक से ही बनाया है। ठीक है, आप लोग चेक भी कर सकते हैं, मैच भी कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी मतलब आप लोग करना चाहें तो कर सकते हैं। अगर किसी को ये असाइनमेंट्स चाहिए तो वो मेरे व्हाट्सअप नंबर पे कांटेक्ट कर सकता है। नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मेरा व्हाट्सअप नंबर मैं दे दूँगी, आपको सिर्फ उस पर मैसेज करना है, कॉल नहीं करना। दूसरी बात, ये असाइनमेंट इंग्लिश मीडियम में तो अवेलेबल हैं, साथ ही आपको हिंदी मीडियम में भी मिल जाएंगे। अगर किसी बच्चे को हिंदी मीडियम में चाहिए, नोट्स चाहिए, वो दोनों मीडियम में अवेलेबल हैं। अगर आपको प्रीवियस ईयर सॉल्व क्वेश्चन पेपर चाहिए तो वो भी दोनों मीडियम में अवेलेबल है। प्लीज़ मेरे इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिएगा, शेयर कीजिएगा, सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा और जितना हो सकता है शेयर कीजिएगा और चैनल को प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा। तो आज के लिए बस इतना ही है। नेक्स्ट वीडियो तक बाय।